Welcome to today's lesson. We are continuing our look on different governments, and today we're going to be focusing within our U.S. government on different political parties for elections. So the development of American political parties, and we have a two-party system, and there you can see our two symbols for our parties, the Republicans represented by the elephant and the donkey representing the Democrats. So what is a political party anyway? Well, a political party is where a group of people come together who share similar ideas about how government should work. So usually they agree on the major issues. That doesn't mean that they agree on absolutely everything, but usually they agree on the big issues that are facing the country at this time. So these groups work together to create public policies or public plans that reflect their views on the government. And usually the parties will choose or nominate, is probably a word you'll hear on presidential election years, that they'll nominate people that they want to elect to public office. And then these candidates will campaign to try to be elected. So let's talk about what the parties are in the U.S. We mentioned on the title slide about Democrats and Republicans, but any American citizen may join a political party regardless of age, but most members are 18 or older to register. The United States has a two-party system. The Republicans emerged as a major party in 1860 with the election of Abraham Lincoln. The Democratic Party actually formed 20 years earlier under Andrew Jackson, the guy that's on the $20 bill. And here's a picture of Abe. Okay, let's talk a little bit about third parties. Now what third parties are, any party outside of the two major parties in control, the Democrats and the Republicans, they're known as third parties. So there's actually many third parties, but no third party has ever gained control of the White House. In other words, no third party has ever been elected to be president. Now here's an example of a person who ran back in the year 2000. His name was Ralph Nader, and he was a member of the Green Party. So again, he lost to George W. Bush in that election, but if they do run, they do have a platform for expressing their opinions and hopefully trying to sway others to have their beliefs as well. So when these smaller groups challenge the two major parties, they can change the outcome of the elections. So for example, if I use Ralph Nader again as an example, in 2000 the Republican candidate was George W. Bush, and the Democratic challenger was Al Gore, who had just finished being vice president for the previous 8 years. Now if Nader takes votes from one of those guys, it can sway the election. And that's the case for all third-party elections. So their most important role is to influence policy on one or more issues. So usually they have one or two issues that they feel very strongly about, and they try to influence the policy even if they don't win the election, that they can have their voice be heard. Let's talk about politics today. So again, the two parties that are in control now are the Democrats and the Republicans. Usually the Democrats feel that it's the job of the federal government, our national government, to help the poor through government interventions. So different programs that can help and intervene with our society. Democrats are usually seen and called liberals. On the other hand, Republicans hold the view that leaving the economy alone will allow for growth, giving people greater ability to help themselves. They believe in less regulation. So basically they believe that if the government tries to stay out of the economy and leave capitalism to do its thing, that people will try to help themselves, and that in turn will help our economy. So they believe in less and less government interference. And Republicans are often viewed and often called conservatives. So hopefully that gave you an insight into what our government is like today and where it's came from in the past. So thank you for tuning in. Catch you next time.